Rolling and action.
Hi, my name is Hafizzaman Fauzi, and today I'm going to be presenting you the draft video proposal for assignment 1. The topic I'm going to talk about is how the leaders communicate with his employees in helping the company achieve organizational goals. Alright, the aim of my study is going to be to study the communication between the leaders and their subordinates to two aspects. And that is to see which method is more successful. Number one, I'm going to study to the informal communication, such as through the use of communication technology and the way of communication in places such as a canteen or cafe in a more relaxed atmosphere. While secondly, I'm going to study the face-to-face communication of formal ways, such as during meeting and when the leaders pass out their official policies to their subordinates. Okay, I will go to the four main principles of communication, which is to the channel, style, direction, and content to study further on the organization. This visual will study as to how the leaders communicate effectively with their employees in sending message to them to achieve their goals. Research will be conducted in a government-linked company called SPED, which I'm going to explain later on. My further objective is going to be to study the perspective of the leaders and employees on how communication technology affect their work rate. Furthermore, I will also be studying the benefits of communication technology and how it can be an important internal tool within the company. Leaders' engagement with employees is recognized as a vital element affecting organizational effectiveness, innovation, and competitiveness, as stated by Arthur Walsh. Next. Okay, my contribution of study will be to learn and support the best and most effective way of communication between the leaders and his employees in achieving his organizational goal. How communication technology is used by a government-linked company, given that these days government-linked company is reaching out more in using technology components. My rationale will be to examine between the uses of the new communication technology tool and formal face-to-face meetings in communicating with the employees for better performance and work rate. Alright, the literature review that I'm going to be talking about is to a journal title called Organizational Communication, Bridging the Gap Between Managers and Employees. In this book, in this journal, it's going to be talked about the communication practices between the management and their employees. Some of the common complaints from the employees are usually that managers are too serious and it's hard to communicate effectively with them through emails, but in some cases face-to-face are better. But in this study, I'm going to show as how the communication is going to be closer between those two parties. So the second journal article I'm going to be researching is called Effectiveness of Communication Channels for Knowledge Sharing in a Study of Creative Companies. In this one, we investigate the effectiveness of the communication channel that can be found within the organization. At most times, the difference between a face-to-face meeting and a communication-based technology, such as email, instant messaging, and so on. The third research I'm going to be talking about in the journal article is Analyzing Computer-Mediated Communication and Organizational Effectiveness. Now, in this case, it's more detailed insight of CMC as how it is being used at different places among the employees to communicate with the leaders. Next. Now the fourth one, I'm going to be touching about the formal communication. Given the first three literature, I talked about the difference and the CMC based communication, but in this one I'm going to be talking about the formal communication in the organization, where in this condition our fast growth is a more and more efficient way of use electrical means in the informational field, nature and content, and the way of attaining managerial and interpersonal relationship are changing. This article presents some typical problems management and organization is facing, and the three methods of connection is written, verbal, and electronic. The research question that I'm going to be talking about is, of course, what are the channels used by the directors in communicating with the subordinates officially and unofficially, and furthermore, and how is the direction flow between the directors with subordinates, formal and informally, and what is the communication style implemented by the leaders with subordinates, and what is the content communicated between the directors and the team members of the workplace. And lastly, what kind of communication is given, what kind of communication a given situation between the team members is deemed more effective. In the methodology, I'll be studying the qualitative process, where I'm going to be interviewing about 3 or 4 persons. So they're going to be between 2 leaders or 1 or 2 employees with 4 research questions with 3 sub-coordinates at each one of them. The total are going to be a minimum of 12 questions, not inclusive of the follow-up question, which is going to be furthermore. On a one-on-one interview, it's going to be last for a minimum of 20 minutes. Discussion of sample will be the directors from 2 different departments and employees on either one of those departments. Received instrument will be as follows: an informal one-on-one, a formal one-to-one, an email, and study of communication-based technology. The organization that we're going to be talking about is called Suruhanjaya Pengangkutan Awam Daud. It's a government-linked company. In English, it's called Land Public Transport Commission. They come directly under the purview of the Prime Minister, and their job is to draw up the policies, planning, and regulations for the road users and public transport use within the country. Next. And the topic assignment 3 that I'm going to be posing is cultural approach on organizational change and leadership process. The method of I'm going to be doing is future writing article with 2,000 words plus 200 words journal. And these are my reference. Thank you.